Hey, y'all are muted.
Oh wow. All right, we had some technical difficulties. Let's do it again. Welcome everyone and thank you for joining us today for another Hub 101. My name is Imani Moore and I'm the engagement coordinator for the Austin Community Hub.
Hi, I'm Zenobia, and I'm the Community Resource Coordinator for the Austin Community Hub.
And I want to go ahead and start by introducing a little bit about who we are and what we do. The Austin Community Hub was designed to be a dedicated space where we can engage with the members of our community. So we're here to serve as a connection between Austin residents and all the services that are offered by ACT's network of partner organizations, such as childcare, job training, youth programs, legal assistance, and plenty more.
Each one of our Hub 101s gives you all an opportunity to get to know our different partners and get live answers to your questions. Hub 101s take place twice a month on Zoom and Facebook Live.
Thank you. And today we are joined by a community organizer, a father, an entrepreneur, and elected official, DeAndre Rudis. Um, he'll present and we'll end today with a Q&A session after the presentation. So feel free to drop any questions that you have in the Q&A box if you're watching on Facebook Live, and Zoom if you're dropping it in the chat. Thank you for being here again, and I'll pass it over to you, DeAndre. The floor is yours.
All right. What's up, everybody? Happy afternoon on this Tuesday. How y'all feeling? I mean, I don't know if y'all can respond to me, but regardless, I had to drop that just to check the temperature. It's hot outside. Hopefully y'all ain't hot in here. Now look, so I'm Dr. DeAndre Rudis. I'm from the Austin community. I grew up here, graduated from Howell, Douglas, Austin. So I'm like legit Austin through and through. And more recently, and I suppose to speak to all of those different aspects of myself that Imani mentioned, I am a PhD business psychologist, which means I use psychology to improve the business environment on the I side, which is the people side, and the O side, which is the organizational side. So utilizing assessments and theory plus application to really improve the work environment overall for organizations and personally for individuals, because I do some coaching. Also, as a father of a 5-year-old who is on the autistic spectrum. So I appreciate all services that are available for kids that are neurodivergent, right? And at some point, once the Rudis Center, which I'll explain next, gets a little larger, then I'll be able to put some funds to support those in the community that have children on the autistic spectrum that can't really afford services, because it is a lot to afford services. Hear me, a lot. And in this climate, it is not getting better. So, what I would like to do, right? And I mentioned the Rudis Center for Business and People Development, located right here at 5044 West Madison. So that's the entrepreneurial effort. So once I saw the ability to buy property in my community, I'm from Austin, I had to jump on it. Now, it was a difficult decision because I purchased property right here along Madison and Leclerc. And if you're familiar with the community, it was a little rough right here by that gas station. It's since cleaned up a bit in the recent in recent history, if you will. For at least the last, I don't know, 6 to 9 months or so, it's been very quiet. It's a nice environment, nice block to build some business on. And so what I saw an opportunity to purchase this property, I jumped at it, and we established the Rudis Center here pretty much in March, if you will. So we're still under development, but the goal here is this is a business and social think incubator. What I want to see in our community is more individuals leaning into their economic development and their abilities and creating some revenue off of their abilities. But then I also want to see us come together more. I want to see us understand social capital is a real thing. And like any economic capital or psychological capital or any other resource that you have that you can be developed, we need to develop our opportunities and skill sets and networking so that we can reach a higher plateau as a people. And so we do that here. We are a business and social think incubator, meaning people come here to ideate, create, and then innovate. And then after that, we do, because we always stomping, we always marching. And lastly, to the marching part, I am an elected official. I am a 15 police district council person, was elected in 2023. It is a newly established office, which allows myself and my two colleagues, Arewa and Carmelita, to sit aside the 15 district officers to really work on public safety and police accountability as a collective, and so you have us sitting in the middle where the community has an opportunity to connect with us. And if that connection needs to be involve the police, they can do that as well. Or if it involves making sure that the police are doing their job in our community, then that's what we are assigned to do using the different bodies that are in place currently, which are COPA, the Civilian Office for Police Accountability, as well as the police board and any other measure. And so that is a super long introduction to discuss who I am, but Imani put all the titles on me, so I just had to let you know why he did so. So either way, I can launch into the district council piece if you like, Imani, or if you want to toss questions, that'll work for me as well. So just let me know which way you want me to go.
Yeah, I think you can go into the district council piece, and then we can get into questions after that.
Okay. Sounds
Yeah.
good. All right. So as I mentioned, I'm an elected member of the 15th Police District Council. And I did also mention my two colleagues. So what the 15th Police District Council is a group of newly elected members to Chicago city office, if you will, right? And so we were elected in 2023, and that election was spurred off of a ton of unarmed Black shootings, right? Whether you're talking Rakia Boyd, Laquan McDonald, so on and so forth. We know a lot of the names, and it was their untimely loss that led to different bodies wanting to design what they believe community-led oversight should look like. And so while these two bodies were at odds, 2020 happened, George Floyd happened, and we also elected a mayor in Mayor Lightfoot who believed in police reform. So she told those two different factions, all right, if y'all come together and put one idea on the table and we can move forward with that, and I'm gonna do my own. And so they said, you know what, we'd rather do it. So they came together and they created a joint venture, which is called Empowering Communities for Public Safety. That's an ordinance that created what you have, which my position, the district council, very hyper local elected official whose business is to elevate the community's voice in public safety and police accountability. And then you have the other side, our helpmates, if you will, which are the community commission. These are 7 members from different sides of the city, 2 from the north side, 2 from the west side, 2 from the south side, and 1 citywide, who are appointed to sit at the city level. Their role is to make sure that when it comes to the issues that the district council members bring from the people on the ground, that they create goals for COPA, for the police board, and for the city of Chicago's police department to put in place that will be a direct response to the issues that the community has brought forth. And so they work on our behalf as district counselors, as well as yours as city of Chicago members, to ensure that we change what public safety and police accountability looks like overall. And the last thing that they do is they have the power to remove their superintendent, as well as in voting non-confident for him. And then he would have to go in front of the city council, who would then give a binding vote. But they can also be involved in the search for the superintendent, which is what they did this time, in which we have Superintendent Snelling. They also can place the heads of those other organizations I mentioned, which are COPA and the police board. And so that ordinance created us as 2 different civilian bodies that work together to improve, again, public safety and police overall. The last thing I'll say about the role itself is that we are mandated to do a couple things. One is to have a monthly meeting. So currently the 15th Police District Council meeting is every second Thursday of the month. Right now we're doing what I like to call a garden tour. So we're actually having our meetings outdoors on that Thursday at different gardens in the community. We want to get y'all outside and introduced to, this beauty that we got in our community. And the next one will be at, I want to say it's 4902 West Gladys. And all of those mean I'm not totally certain, so I'm gonna have to go look at my calendar, but I'll make sure that I get that to y'all as well. But it will be outside, closer to the end of the district, which the 15th district spans from Austin to Cicero, Roosevelt to Division. And that's where we are elected to serve. The last thing I'll say is that with the position, there are 3 individuals that sit at each district council. So we have a total of 66 newly elected members, which represent the 22 police districts that we have in the city of Chicago. With the positions, you have the chairperson. That person is the chief administrator of the group. They make sure that all the paperwork are together. When we have projects we'd like to do, they connect with our project manager. They also just make sure that any type of communication that needs to be at the higher ranks is directed from them in whatever facility that they utilize. The second is the community engagement specialist, which is the role that I occupy. So my role is to make sure that we have a face out here, that people know who we are. Most of the time, any issues in public safety or police accountability come through me. And then I interact with the different bodies as well as police to make sure that whatever the issue is, we try to rectify it. And then the last is the nominator, and that is where Arewa sits. And the nominator is the group of district counselors that create the entire process to appoint the commissioner. So they create the application, they create the interview process, the assessment process, and finally, they're the ones responsible for sending 14 names to the mayor. Of those 14, he chooses 7. And so without them having that capacity, then we would not have our community commissioners. That is all about the district council, and I also threw a little bit of history in there, so for folks that are new to it could understand a little bit of how we even got here.
That was great. That was great. A lot of good information. Let's see. Where can we start? Okay, I have first question, and that is, what inspired you to take on this leadership role in police accountability?
You know what? A couple things. One is when I was a child, much younger than I am now, my twin brother and I were playing in the alley on Pine and what's that? That's almost like Pine. What is this? Lake Street, almost Pine and Lake, but it wasn't directly right there. It was like, let's say 301 North. I think that's where our grandmother lived at the time. So we playing in the alley. We hear gunshots. We start to run. Police pull up on us and say, "Where y'all running to?" We away from the gunshot that you just heard as well. So we young, we smart alecky. So with that, my brother had his hands in his pocket, and you take your hands out your pocket. Nah, I ain't gonna do that. You know what I mean? So oh yes you are. They threw him up on the car. They start bashing his shoulder into the car. And I'm twin, so I step up fist ball, huffing and puffing. They get back or it's gonna get worse. So only thing I could do is turn around and start crying. Like, I don't want it to be like, I'm in the hard place at this point. You know what I'm saying? So that happened, right? So that happened. Another thing is, I would say also, I've had numerous encounters with being stopped by police. I've never had a poor encounter, right? Always had a, why I'm stopping you, some more or less I do, I was definitely 45 in the 30, give me what I deserve, you know what I mean? So I've had peaceful encounters, and so while I've had this negative experience, I've also had positive, right? And so I understand that, it's not a one size fit all situation when it comes to policing. And then 2012 is when I first stood up for the community. Trayvon Martin was killed. Wasn't police killing, but it was the first time that I literally was compelled to want to do something as a young black man. I was 24, 25. And I was like, nah, we got to do something. So a friend of mine had me go downtown when the protest was going on, threw a hoodie on. I grabbed my tea, I have my Skittles, and went down there and haven't turned back since. Just continued to climb the ladder of like this community organizing and engagement work, and obviously we here now. And so those two things will probably be the most instrumental about what led me to want to be a district council person. Outside of the very last thing, which is more recent, which is in 2018, I started working with NYU's policing project. And with that, the goal was to utilize the community as ambassadors and work alongside officers, which we call district coordination officers. And my goal then, and what spurred again more recently in me and wanting to become a leader, is that the goal was to build relationships with the officers, learn about them. So I'm having conversation about their kids, about them going to school, about that, that they collect comics, that they trade in the stock market. You feel me? When you start having conversations, it turns into a different applicant. Man, I see the badge, but damn, you a human too. You a person. You feel me? And so, so 2018, I started doing that work. 2021, I get employed by NYU to do it on a higher level, and I go around to different communities and having different conversations with different officers now. And so, you combine all of those three things I mentioned, and you got who you got now.
Got you. And that position that you just described through NYU, is that something that you're still actively doing, or did that kind of drop off when you took on this new role?
Man, I'm gonna share the tip, man. Nah, it's over with. It's over at the end of August. It's over with.
Okay.
I started, like I said, as an ambassador. That was 2018, and I did it for 3 years. Basically volunteer, of course. You know what I mean. But I'm always about community. So in whatever ways. And so came on in 2021, and so you got to think that project that we started here, which is called the Chicago Neighborhood Policing Initiative, has been going on for 7 years. And one of the things that happened is last year would have been the last year, but the district council came into play again in 2023 May, and there were just a ton of issues in a bunch of the district councilors. And because we already had the relationships, the understanding, the network built, they wanted to see us. And when I say us, I mean my colleagues. There are three of us, I'm sorry, that were remaining from our original 7-person team. And they wanted us to take those insights, those lessons, those networks, and help the district council. So for the last year, that has been my role: support district councilors in 11, 15, of course, my own district, and in District 25. And yeah, we're about to sunset. Right now we actually trying to work on the best way to tell folks we ain't gonna be here no more. But it's all love though, because NYU, they like the work, and there may be some contractual opportunities, but I'm definitely sad to have that go away. That was the best job I ever had. My chef's kiss, you hear me? Best job.
The next question we have is, what have been your biggest challenges and successes so far as a district council officer?
Biggest successes has been, at least, okay, I call this a win, y'all. So one is, every time we have a meeting, we have somebody new in the meeting. That means whatever our methods of trying to reach people are working. And I say that because it is very difficult to reach people. We meet a lot. We meet a lot. So, each time we get a new person, I'm happy about that. I view that as a success. Sometimes we may not have but 7 people in the meeting, but it's always a new person or two, and I consider that a success. The other thing is, we're currently working on a pilot, which we call, and the name is still in the works. We call it a community tribunal, community police tribunal. Folks are not gravitating toward the word tribunal. So it's a workshop, but the goal behind it is to solve lower level or mediate, if you will, lower level offenses between police and community and community, right? Because one of the things that we are seeing increasingly that the need for officers are in all spaces does not meet what we need officers to be doing, right? And when I say all spaces, I mean some of our officers are social workers, they're therapists, they're teachers, mentors, and on the job they have to be that. And so what we want to do is be able to at least take away some of the responsibility and utilize our office in a way that sees one of us as district counselors, one community member, and one police officer be able to sit together and mediate some of these smaller conflicts. And I'm proud that we are putting forth something like that because when we came into the position, we just knew what our roles were, but we didn't know what we could do. And so this is going to be something once we put it in place that could be duplicable if it works. And we need something like this. So that's a success. And a failure is I'm gonna be honest, I don't want to own the failure. I'm gonna say this: the city of Chicago need to do a better job of highlighting us as both elected officials as well as existing, because we don't get enough press from them. A lot of people don't know that we exist, and we could do our jobs, which we do, and going to bring people to us. But to have the city, put out something about us, let folks know that we're here, would be great. And so I would say that's one of the things that I see as a challenge. And the last thing is all the district counselors operate differently. It's a ton of different personalities, ton of different ways that people interact with police. We got some abolitionists, some Black workers lives matters folks. We have some pro police, and we have some FOP. We got it all across the board, and they all operate differently. Would love to see my counterparts and us not put on public display our in-house issues, because it doesn't suit us. It doesn't look good as a group for us as a developing body to have so much internal conflict on the way out, which that didn't exist. And so those two things are what I would call losses. As it relates to the 15th district, we the best district out there. I'm gonna go on and say it. So us as a group, we doing our work. It could be better. And if y'all know how it could be better, let us know. But otherwise, no losses on our end. It's everybody else. Just
Well, I'm glad that you say that, because that actually leads me to my next question, and that is, what kind of support do you need from community members to make your work more effective? Because I heard you speak on, like, as far as the city and an exposure that, or lack of exposure, but
right.
like what can community do? I know that's just one side of it, right? But what can the community do and their respective efforts to kind of make this thing that you're doing more impactful and more effective for everybody?
Um. I'm a little. I know what we could do. The easy answer is always to show up and come out and blah blah
Mhm.
blah. I don't want to go that route because again, we have a lot of meetings. It's very taxing on folks to continuously to ask them to come out and not have anything for them. What I mean is progress, right? People want to see progress. They'll go through the process if progress is at the end. And so I can't ask for more than people have to give. We do that a lot in this space. And so what I would like to be able to do is give them progress. But I will also say on the flip side of that, I can't give what I don't know about. So if anything, okay, meetings aside, are there any issues that you are aware of that we could tackle? But then when we go and try to tackle those issues, what are you also willing to invest to make sure that we can see some resolution? Because I'll give you an example. We talk about block clubs a lot, but there are individuals that don't want to see a 3-year process to building a block club and maintaining that block club so that folks that are not part of that block club, they active. We can't be right here like that. You know what I mean? So if I had to ask to do anything, it would be um, if you're going to come with the complaint, also come with a solution that involves your activity. You can't put it on, don't put it all on me. Don't put it all on me or us. And so that would be what I would ask the community. Again, we can't continue to ask for all their time in meetings, but we can ask that if they're going to come with solution that involves them so that they can also be a part of a positive outcome too. We all grow from that.
Mhm.
Okay. Yeah, and on the topic of, the community and the residents, how can we as residents both hold police and district council accountable in a productive way?
Um, All right, so with the police is simple. I would say it's not simple, but it's the with policing, it's about understanding your own rights as a civilian. One of the things that we do with the district council is we do a quarterly Know Your Rights session that is focused in different educational aspects of policing. So, for example, and which is where I'm going with this, we did one that we brought the ACL. We had the ACLU come out to talk about what folks' rights are when they're in a car, right? Meaning, what questions do you or can you answer, or do you have to answer? What is your rights to when a police officer pulls up and wants to search your vehicle? What is your right to, display ID and all of these other things that we see constantly people have a negative interaction with police about, right? And so when we have those opportunities, we definitely want people to come out and learn, because once you learn it, you can pass it to somebody that doesn't know it. But starting there, having a foundation of education as it relates to your rights about policing first serves you well. So that's number one. We got to get the community educated in what they actually can and cannot do when police are concerned. The second thing would then be to know the proper steps that you need to take when you feel that an issue has been arose between and with an interaction between you and police. Meaning, um, make sure you get badge number. Make sure you act. It's camera rolling. Make sure that if you feel uncomfortable in any way after you've done everything you're supposed to do, you ask for a sergeant. Um, Make sure that I did say badge, but make sure you get the name with that, and you record these notes, right? Because then, if you feel so inclined, you can follow up with a COPA investigation. You can come to us as district council and and say, hey, this happened. I'm looking to, file report with COPA, and I'm going to need your support with that. And of course, that's what we're there for. And then you got to be willing to see it all the way through, because COPA investigations take a long time. So from the policing side, holding them accountable involves you having your knowledge. You got to have your foundational knowledge first. You cannot come from a place of unknowing, because that will lead you down a path where you probably won't get the outcome that you totally expect. But also, when you get into that situation with them, know all of the information that needs to be recorded so that you are protected. And then I would say with that last piece, since I did mention ACLU, know who to go to, right? Obviously, you have district counselors, but if you choose another office, then know those individuals. Now to the district council piece. So I left off basically saying um, with district counselor, you can bring us your issue area, and it's our job. So holding us accountable looks like making sure that we follow up with you, um, meaning as your case progresses, we should be in contact with you. You shouldn't necessarily have to be. I do understand a lot of us are impatient, so we'll probably burn down the line, and that happens. But the reality is, again, as these investigations take a while, maybe you should have some intervals in which you're checked in on, so you can know. And I think that is responsible of a district council person, being that our primary role is such. The other thing is making sure that here's the interesting thing with the district council, right? We are an elected body that does not have the city's oversight, if you will. Meaning, like, they don't have jurisdiction over us. So it's not like you can go to an alderman and say, district councilor, person is da da da, or you can go to a community commissioner. I bring that up though because um, we are held accountable by the Office of Inspector General, though. So the city has the Office of Inspector General, and they hold us accountable. So if you've ever felt like the district council wasn't working on your behalf or isn't doing the job that you believe that they were called to do in various ways, you can always reach out to the OIG, and that's the best way to do it. Besides, going to us personally and letting us know. I think a lot of times what we tend to not do is go directly to an individual and make sure that we give them something that can be useful as feedback. um, I totally believe that you shouldn't go scorched earth on people for an incident, because we're all human. We are designed to fail in some capacities. And so what you can do also is make sure that you have conversation with anybody that's in elected office, and look forward to the feedback in terms of their actions being different. And if not, then the last thing I say, like everybody say, we are elected officials, replace us. So
That's a great point. And how so you guys are elected officials. Like how long of a term do you all serve? And like what's the process as far as election and how does that go?
yeah, so this is a 4-year office. We were
Mhm.
elected May 16th, maybe May 23rd, either May 16th or May 23rd. Hell, could have been May 9th. Anyway, last May, 2023 May, we were elected. And that office goes until the next elections come around. So in 2026, into 2026, if folks are interested in running for public office for this position, then they will start collecting signatures at that time. If everything goes the way they typically go, um, signature collection will start in August, go until November. After that, you'll find out if you're a candidate. You would start campaign. Well, you're already campaigning, but February should be the election month. That's typically how elections go. So we have a 2-year office. So we would be removed out of office. Probably, I think it's April. I think April is the placement month. Generally, I could be wrong on that timetable, but we got until April, if not June. I think maybe June. I think it's June. June. I think we were just elected early because of the ordinance, the way it was written. But June. So yes. So June 2027 is the end of our office. And for anybody interested, the election starts in August of 2026. You'll be getting signatures. You'll be making a ballot. If you're going to make the ballot, then you will be doing your work to make sure that people elect you. And that's the process. That's how we did it and got elected. And that's the
And,
questions
and,
right there. So,
and
yeah.
can you be reelected or can you only serve a certain amount of
Oh, that's a good question. Yes, so actually, yes, we can be reelected, but per the ordinance, we can only serve for 3 terms. So for a total of 12 years, and then we can no longer be a district council person.
gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay, and then I'll go into my next question. I got questions for you today, man. I
Yeah,
got
no worries.
questions. Um, are the district council officers uh doing work to redefine what safety looks like beyond policing? And if so, like what does those efforts look like?
Uh, what safety looks like. That's a good one. So redefine what safety looks like. So as I mentioned, one of the things with NYU that we are trying to move into is this alternate response to policing, meaning again, officers should not be responsible for every single call, right? Those especially that involve mental health challenges, right? Officers should be in the area, but if they don't have to be the ones to pick up that call, 9 times out of 10 they should not. Other things also include maybe ticketing and parking violations, those type of things police should not have to respond to. So as district counselors, what we are trying to do is find that space where officers could do the job that we believe they should be assigned to, right? Which is anything that can't be solved in a community conversation, right? So a theft, right? If somebody steals a bike, or if somebody steals money, or something larger up to an amount, I'm sure that a conversation can be had if two people are willing to have it and one person is willing to be restorative, right? So we could take some small issues away from the police, which is again the concept that we're trying to develop now as district counselors. So that's one way. The other way would be to again give whatever other job opportunities that the police are being called to away somewhere else. And I call them opportunities because in ticketing, for example, why can't we get the Department of Revenue to do that? They already have people. You know what I'm saying? As it relates to what else is mental health crisis. Chicago has a care van that goes around and actually responds to those calls. Now, the unfortunate is that the budget does not allow for this pilot to continue. So one of the things the district council are trying to do is encourage people to understand this care service that the city has and try to get them to call aldermen and statesmen and whoever else can be involved in bringing that money to resource that particular program, which again sees mental health professionals answer the call of mental health crises. And so those are just like three of the things right there that district councils as a whole are working on as a group, really, even though it's all 66 of us, so that we could try to move away from policing every single aspect of these interactions and having them police only the most serious that 100% needs a 911 response.
Great, great. Thank you.
What role can Black clubs and local organizations play in supporting police accountability efforts?
You know what? One of these things that I've been trying to get off the ground for the longest, I call it a listening tour. And every time we have a meeting, I bring it up and say, look, if you got a block club, bring us out, because not only does that help to spread the awareness of who we are in our office so we can help more, it also encourages block club members to be proactive about like having speakers come out, for example. Like I get as it exists now, a lot of block clubs are very internal, but we should also be using these block clubs for growth opportunities. We should be having speakers. It ain't got to be us as elected officials. It could be a bunch of different people that could really help the block in various ways. And so I think if block clubs and other community leaders, had it where they were like, okay, you know what, we need to bring these guys out. And again, not only when something is happening, but also just to educate the community on who we are in our office, that would be helpful. And probably lastly, just again, you gotta be in it. It doesn't have to be everybody from the block, but those that are designated as leadership has to be involved in the action. Right. So if the block if I don't know, let's say the next block over there's a nuisance and we as district counselors have to go over, we would love the support of the community to come over with us, right? Strengthen numbers, but also it shows us that, once if this was to come to your block, we already have the idea of what we need to do to move it around so that we can either prevent it or we could nip it in the bud before it becomes a larger challenge. And so those are just the things that I think community can help us with.
Great, great. Earlier I heard you mention the 15th district was the best.
Okay.
I was just wondering, are there like some things that you can highlight or like things that you all do in the community as far as the 15th district that may be different or unique than any other district that kind of highlights that success that we're having in the 15th district here?
Yeah, you know what? Interestingly enough, and I don't know the exact numbers, but the mayor said we're down 24% in violent crime. I went to his fireside chat on what was that, yesterday? And So that was very good to hear that something like that is happening. That was Sunday that I went to the fireside chat, but it was good to hear that something like that is happening in Austin. And I think several reasons, right? One, we have a strong commander, and we've had a history of commanders in 15 that were really community oriented. So they really involve community in the work. And again, all of us working together just makes the work easier, and it makes outcomes and progress actually likely to happen. And so, great commanders, number one. And the commander we have is great. Number two, we have what's called the ART response teams, meaning whenever there is an issue in a particular block, the next day, 2 days later, you have a collection of faith-based community leaders, organizations hitting the block, making sure that the neighbors understand, that they have support and help in various ways, and those responses are really helpful to building, just positive engagement in general, but also just more trust in police, knowing that, okay, after a tragic incident, they're going to pull up and respond, and they're going to come bearing more people and resources than we didn't have before. Just a great thing that we do right there. And then the last thing is that personally, I just know Austin to be, we have a lot of potential here. Got a lot of potential, and it's particular because we have some good people here. We have a lot of good people, and the West Side in general, but Austin specifically will get shouted out because there's always, something happening, which is going to always be something happening. But all of this positivity that we have going on with new centers opening up and new developments coming every day, and various bodies trying to collaborate to increase, positive outcomes, man, those things don't get highlighted enough. And that's, one of the reasons why the 15th is good, because of the people, because of the commitment to getting out there after something happens and making sure the community understands that we are here together. And then we just have a long list of great commanders.
Yeah, that's great. So how are community voices, especially youth and seniors, being included in decisions about public safety?
Oh, glad you asked. Tonight we got a youth symposium. We're gonna be right at Bill. We're gonna be there at 5 o'clock, and so it's with one of the groups I'm with, West Side Rising. Y'all should know us if you don't know, but that's one of those collaborative organizations that I was talking about that's out here doing good work. So we always are making sure that the youth are included. Most of the youth from West Side Rising spent the whole summer almost, because I do programming here, which I'll talk about later. And almost every Saturday they've been here since the beginning of the month. And so we are having conversations about a multitude of things, but you got to know safety is always going to be a part of it. And so today we're going to do the symposium, and it's going to focus on safety as well as other social aspects that could be useful for young people and trying to understand what they are going through. And then with us as district counselors, something that we need to do, which I intend to do before whether I think it's going to be in this next iteration, because our meetings in the garden are going to go until maybe October. And then what I would love to do, which I'm working on now, is November through, I don't know, say March or April of next year, we do school tours. We did one so far. We went to Austin High School, brought the young people in the room, had conversation, but we need to do more. So from November to, like I say, hopefully about April of next year, I'm going to try to book some different schools in the 15th and go have direct conversation with them about what they see in safety as a district council. And that's district council work. But again, tonight we're going to be right here at Bill with the youth symposium.
Oh, great. That was perfect timing. That was perfect timing. I think, unfortunately, I do think we all out of time for questions. Matter of fact, that was the last question. But again, I want to thank you for joining us, DeAndre. I appreciate it, man. I see you out. I know you out here working feet to the pavement. Every event that I'm at, I see you there working.
Man.
I've been seeing you doing this for a long time. When my first encounter with you, I said you were running for another elected position some years back. So I definitely know you. You definitely committed to the work.
For
I'm glad
sure.
to see you in the position that you're in. And I just wanted to make sure we do our part to highlight what it is that you and the other DCOs are doing. So salute again for coming on Hub 101 and blessing the people with all the information and the resources that you got at the Rooted Center as well.
Yes, sir. Thank you. And I see you got the flyer up. So again, we're doing a wind down Wednesday. You know what I mean? Real chill vibes. BYOB. If you don't drink, you don't have to, but just come out. It's gonna be, open mic style. So we'll have some poetry. We'll have I got a comedian coming out, and I really want to get back to that vibe. You know what I mean? So we outside. We outside. Like come on and be, adults. We're gonna be outside though. And again, the Rooter Center is located 5044 West Madison. Much of everything is by appointment, so you can always call me at 773-543-5968. But I do business development and coaching. I do economic development. In fact, speaking on the 15th, I will be Mondays, first and third Mondays. We'll be over there teaching some of the young people how to invest. I've been investing in the stock market since 2013, and it's something that I really want to impart to the people, at least so they can have beginner foundational knowledge and understanding of what investment is like. And then we do social development where we focus on folks that have issues with their mental health. We have social workers, clinicians, and therapists. And we have space that you all can rent if you know anybody that's looking to occupy that. And so, yeah, man, other than that, I'm blessed and thankful. I tell people all the time, I do amazing work with amazing people, and I never get tired of working with the people, only the leadership. And so that's a plug for if you're a bad leader, come see me. I'm a business psychologist. I help leaders. I do coaching. I can improve you. But you probably, but it's gonna cost you. But I ain't gonna hit you over the head. But anyway, we do all of that. So I appreciate y'all for allowing me to come on and just be myself, and appreciate the opportunity. And thanks for everybody listening. And again, I hope you stay cool through this whole thing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Let's see, to know if you want to take us out.
Yeah, like we mentioned earlier, the hub is here to connect you to resources, even if something isn't the right fit for you. As the community resource coordinator, I work directly with participants of the hub, so I'll be following up with you. And if you requested additional hub services in your registration form, I'll be following up with you to better understand what you're looking for, so I can connect you with the resources or services you need.
Thank you, thank you. And like always, you can go ahead and register for the next Hub 101, which will take place on Tuesday, August 5th. Again, the next Hub 101 will be Tuesday, August 5th. So go ahead, register, share it out with your family, friends, neighbors, or anyone who you think that might be interested in those services. And I hope to see you again. Until next time, everybody. Thank you.
All right, y'all. Have a good day.